Tonight at 11, newly released body camera video showing an intense gun battle between a Jacksonville police officer and a heavily armed driver who was pulled over. That exchange of gunfire happened 2 weeks ago on Ribault Avenue in the Osceola Forest neighborhood on the north side.
The driver, identified as 33-year-old Brandon White, who died after being hit by multiple rounds from Officer A.C. Galding. The officer was also shot but survived.
News 4 Jax reporter Eric Avanier joining us live in studio to break down this video. Eric?
Well, the video you're about to see is a perfect example of why police don't like to use the phrase routine traffic stop. It's not every day that an officer pulls over a heavily armed driver wearing body armor and what appears to be a tactical mask. The video starts with Officer A.C. Galding pulling over a BMW that stopped in the driveway.
Stay in the cars.
Seconds after the officer gets out of his patrol car,
Traffic 66, shots fired. Traffic 66, shots fired.
when we play back the video, we notice Officer Galding told the driver, later identified as Brandon White, to stay in the car.
Stay in the cars.
The officer draws his gun after White opens the door. It's also clear that White fired the first shot before the officer returned fire. Another noticeable thing in the video is the officer displaying his skills in tactical defensive shooting. He's retreating backward to a safe location where he can find cover after being shot in the foot, while continuing to keep eyes on the suspect and returning fire. Retired JSO Director of Investigations turned News 4 Jax crime and safety analyst Tom Hackney reviewed this video and says it appears the officer's training saved his life.
Keeping his head together, first of all, it's not easy to do under stress, to keep that together, to put that on the radio, and keep your wits about you to make sure that you are addressing the threat, because this guy came ready.
While we're not showing other officers later pulling White's lifeless body out of the car, we can show you the handgun police say he used to shoot at Officer Galding and this semi-automatic rifle loaded with a high-capacity drum magazine that was in the car. And this is the body armor police say he was wearing. Again, we are not showing the body, but when White was pulled out of the car, it appeared that he was wearing a tactical balaclava that most people would identify as a ski mask.
That's what you would see by somebody who is going in to rob a business or a bank or do a home invasion robbery, where their face is covered and they've got body armor on. They've got a lot of guns, and he had that for some reason. It's just, the officer kind of interrupted maybe whatever plan he had going, and the attention was quickly turned to that officer.
Now, in that video we're not showing you, right after White's body was pulled from the car, we see other officers taking his body armor off, which revealed some of the locations where he was fatally shot. This is why, another good example of why we never identify body armor as bulletproof vests. Here's a good example. This is body armor, but certain types of body armor are offer a certain level of protection. This, for example, may protect you against a lower caliber weapon, but when you start getting into those higher caliber weapons like the rifles and the AK-47s and things like that, something like this, the bullet will go right through.
And that looks pretty heavy.
It is. This is about 13 pounds. So the plates in this vest are rated. So the plates I'll show our viewers, the plates in this vest are rated to take anything up to about a 9mm. But then again, there are certain areas of the vest where there is no level of protection. This thing gets hit multiple times, even probably with a 9mm, it's going to penetrate. This is why we often hear about officers sometimes wearing this body armor still getting injured, because it may absorb the bullet, but there's still an injury. And we just saw in that video, this man was wearing that body armor and it took a lot of hits, and we see what the aftermath was.
Eric, thank you.